What's up, gamers? It's time for a little bit of Heroes Charge. So, today we're going to go over a little bit of Arena, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some heroes that I think are underplayed, and not because they need to be played, but they're kind of like, how you have certain heroes that you like that look good on paper, but when you actually try to apply it, it doesn't work out the way you want to. I kind of want to bring up a couple of heroes that I feel that are in that category. But first, let's take a look at Arena. I've been actually doing a lot of battling in Arena as far as trying to man the top 200, and it's been kind of rough. But usually within the past week, I've actually had about 4 or 5 nights where I was ranked like 120 or 160 or something like that, and I actually got the prizes for it. So that was pretty cool. So clearly, what I have is working. I did make an adjustment. I'll move my little chat bubble here. I did put Turtle Fighter in my defensive team. The only reason I wasn't running Turtle Fighter because I just didn't have him fully equipped. Because someone did comment that I should put Turtle Fighter in that team, and I agreed. The problem was I was focused on pushing other heroes at the time, but now that I have Turtle Fighter, at Red +2, fully equipped except for the one item that's level 105, which is a little awkward. But other than that, he's fully equipped, fully enchanted, so he's good to go. So I got him in there. I'm still running Death Knight because not everybody's running Divine Knight. So I can still run Death Knight and it's not going to kill me because since a lot of people don't have Divine Knight, I can still get the healing that I need. Um, I still run Puppet Master because he's really just solid backline hero. And Griffin, I'm kind of debating maybe taking him out for something because against the another Turtle Fighter matchup, he's a little awkward. So if I want something a little more consistent, I might take him out for something else. I'm just not sure yet. But let's take a look at some of my arena fights. And that's not what I want. Replays. So I've had a few defensive wins. We'll go ahead and show one versus a level 105 against Schultz. So his team is Dwarf Warrior, Fallen Dominion, Commander, Rose Fencer, Ninja Assassin. Gonna be honest with you guys, this is um I don't know. I guess Commander is okay in this setup only because I'm not running Rose Fencer or anything like that. Um, I don't know. I just don't. I'm not feeling Commander anymore. I don't know what it is. I just lost interest. Um, but other than that, they have a decent team. As far as like being aggressive, the one tank that they do have does deal a lot of damage, and then Commander is good as far as dealing with other tanks. So I guess Commander wasn't such a bad idea either. But what's really hurting them is that they're not getting their lifesteal ability. Commander's not really able to heal them up too much because of Divine Knight. So that makes it easier for me to win. Commander couldn't one shot my Death Knight because he's just a boss. He's really, really solid tank. I might argue to say that he might be the best tank in the game, but I could be wrong. But that's just my personal opinion. I can't. I'm not gonna try to back it up with fact because I could really be wrong. But a pretty decent fight. Um, unfortunate for him, his ninja assassin didn't do nearly as much damage as he could have. But like I said, this was a solid team. It's just that my team was better. And that's really the only thing I can say about this. Awkwardly enough, Rosefisher didn't do much damage. He's there for the control, but I don't know. He didn't seem to do much. Well, the fact that I run Turtle Fighter throws them off. Like Turtle Fighter is probably someone I would always recommend in your defensive lineup. He's just that good. We'll take a look at one of my most recent win here. We're gonna go over the arena meta today. Also, Turtle Fighter, he's running Divine Knight, Ninja Assassin, Sorceress, and Puppet Master. Really solid team, in my opinion. This is. Oh, I'm sorry, that's me. I'm like, man, this guy knows what he's doing. It's because it's me. All right, sorry about that. His defending team is Turtle Fighter, Puppet Master, Tarot Prophet. Um, I think it's Death Knight and Soul Hunter. What's funny about Soul Hunter, and I mentioned this before, When I was kind of a noob, like in the 80s and early 90s, and I still considered myself a noob back then too, um, I ran Soul Hunter as my tank. Like a lot of people thought that was a bad idea, but I actually ran him as my tank, and he was okay. Believe it or not, I mean he wasn't nearly as solid as some of the other tanks I could have ran, but he was actually okay. But yeah, I actually used Ninja Assassin for once. I just got him to Red Plus Two as well. Matter of fact, I in the past week since I made a video, I got Ninja Assassin and Turtle Fighter to Red Plus Two. And Ninja Assassin is fully equipped in Enchanted because all of his good equipment's in level 104. He doesn't need a level 105 weapon or item, so that's pretty cool. Looking at the stats here, like everybody except Turtle Fighter was in the 100k damage rank, which was really cool. Um, a lot of this, that the reason that I'm able to deal so much damage is just the fact that Divine Knight keeps them from healing as much. So their Soul Hunter and their Death Knight is just not doing their job completely. There is some healing going on, but for the most part, I mean, I'm taking them down a lot faster than I should. You know, there's a chance that that could have been a draw if I didn't run Divine Knight, more or less. We'll take a look at one of my losses because I'm not just going to show off all of my wins here. I want to show you the meta and what to do to beat my team. Turtle Fighter, Rose Fencer, Ninja Assassin, Hidden Needle, Sorceress. Very solid team. His Turtle Fighter basically, distracts me. We went over this combo the other day with Turtle Fighter, Rose Fencer's Sorceress. Now, of course, since I'm running Turtle Fighter, that's going to kind of throw them off a bit. But their Hidden Needle is probably going to decimate my field, and not to mention their Ninja Assassin as well. So there goes Ninja Assassin starting his thing. Rose Fencer's controlling me. I'm assuming Hitting Needle's going to go off here any time now and like take out the rest of my people. I'm not too sure. And there goes Hidden Needle. Boom. Takes out my Puppet Master, I believe that was. Yeah, they're just literally wrecking my field right now. And I'm showing this in slow motion so you can actually see what's actually going on. Of course, Griffin, flying around, he makes the game a little bit slower for you. But he had a really solid team. I mean, basically, he ran some hardcore DPS. He basically fought fire with fire. I mean, opposing turtle fighters, which is the best way to go. He didn't really run any tanky tank like Death Knight or anything like that. He didn't need it. When you're trying to go up in ranking, you really don't need like a healing tank. I mean, Turtle Fighter and Dwarf Warrior are probably the only two I would recommend being your tank, if you will, because they can deal damage. But Turtle Fighter is probably the best in my opinion, mainly because, and this is on more on offense, but because he just disrupts their line so bad, it's just phenomenal. But yeah, they're hitting Needle 200k, Ninja Assassin and Sorceress over 100k, and it was just ridiculous what they were doing to me. My Divine Knight uh, only helped a little. I mean, their team was not depending on really healing. They're more about being aggressive, and that's what you're supposed to do in arena. You got to be aggressive. Um, so that's kind of an example of a team to use. Um, this is another guy who beat my team the other day and knocked me down a couple pegs. Remember, I was in the lower 100, so this is why I've been getting attacked a lot. And I've been doing some attacking myself, not completely successful. This is some interesting heroes, actually. I can't think of the names, though. I think it's like Ghost Knight, Chemist. I think they ran a Divine Knight of their own. Um, I can't think of that guy's name. Fiend Slayer, that's his name. Fiend Slayer, who I actually kind of like him. I think he's pretty solid. I just haven't pushed him yet. And I can't think of what their fifth is right now. But I mean, again, they're focusing more on the damage output. The combo is to group everybody together and then just more or less deal us damage, try to keep us from healing. stuff like that. So as you can tell, a lot of your top players are running Divine Knight right now. He's a big deal. He's the big boss, and like right now, he's my favorite frontline hero at the moment. Just like Puppet Master is my favorite backline hero. Sorceress used to be my favorite backline hero until I realized how good Puppet Master was, and I was like, oh, okay, Sorceress is a good number two. But there you have it. But yeah, he ran his own Turtle Fighter, a Divine Knight, Fiend Slayer, Ghost Knight, and Chemist. And look at that damage there. Basically, Divine Knight, uh, Chemist, and Ghost Knight all did over 100k. Um, their Divine Knight, of course, kept me from doing any healing, and their Turtle Fighter disrupted my field. I'm not 100% sure what all Fiend Slayer does, but I remember when I first read him that he had potential. So this is kind of an idea of what to expect in the meta. And then I'll show you one more of my arena wins here. Let's see. Oh yeah, I went up against like what I would consider a defense team. He had Death Knight and Soul Hunter. So this was an easy fight for me because you're gonna run a bunch of healers. I'm just gonna win. He did have like Rose Fencer, but it, I don't really fear Rose Fencer because in this list I'm not even running any females. His controllability is still decent, but um, it wasn't anything that I was too worried about. I love how Puppet Master just doesn't die. It's so good. But yeah, my Ninja Assassin's working on their backline. There goes their Puppet Master. Their Rose Fencer does stop Ninja Assassin on his tracks here and there. But the damage is already done, and for the most part, we just end up winning. That's all that it is. Because someone did say a long time ago that I should run Ninja Assassin, and honestly, I had already planned on it, just because I wanted to use it in Guild Raid too. But like I said, I was focusing on a lot of different heroes. But yeah, basically, Fallen Dominion, Ninja Assassin, and Puppet Master were my 100k damage dealers. I do rotate heroes off and on. Like if you notice, I haven't been running Vengeance Spirit a lot. Like if I see a Turtle Fighter, I take her out because Turtle Fighter makes Vengeance Spirit awkward sometimes. It's more of an RNG thing. So I would rather have someone that's gonna 100% be solid. It's also rare when Fallen Dominion instead of Griffin because Turtle Fighter makes Griffin awkward too. Um, so these are the kind of decisions you have to make when you're doing arena. You look at what they're using, and if they're running certain heroes, you got to make the necessary adjustments. Um, so that's kind of an idea of what's going on in the meta. As a matter of fact, I can look for someone to fight if you guys want. Of course, you really can't really respond because this isn't live, but it was nice to say at least. I'm trying to find someone with an actual defensive team that I can just easily win. Um, yes, I do go for the easy wins. Okay, here's an easy win right here. Oh, no, not really. No, that and it's not that many ranks. I want to get some ranking. Ooh, this is an interesting team. Uh, Executioner is an interesting person to have. I don't really see a lot of people using him anymore, and I think he's still pretty solid. He's good against Turtle Fighter. Um, let's see, Lightbringer, Turtle Fighter. Was that Ooze? I think that king's name is, and then Sorceress. I might fight it just because I'm curious, because I do that sometimes too, just to see. Yeah, we're gonna fight this guy. I'm probably not gonna win, but we'll see what happens. Their Turtle Fighter is what I'm really fearing. Turtle Fighter and Sorceress. Because I have Turtle Fighter, that basically means that I'm gonna stick to probably this team. I'm not sure if I should run Sorceress or Fallen Dominion. That's been kind of the toss up I've been having lately. Is which would I prefer to have? Like Sorceress, I think deals a lot of more damage in general, but I think Fallen Dominion is better against Turtle Fighter. But I think that if they were running Rose Fencer, then I would run Fallen Dominion instead of Sorceress, and I think that's kind of where the thought process starts to happen. But let's try it out. I'm at about a little over 70k power, which is a lot less power, but in all reality, those numbers are not very reliable. Just because they have a higher power than you doesn't mean that you don't stand a chance. I have it on spot times 4. Let me slow it down a bit. All right, so we're starting to go off. I mean, the only thing you missed was a setup. But it looks like I might. Well, never mind. They just took out my Ninja Assassin. That's right. I forgot Lightbringer kills Ninja Assassin. I'm the one that's been preaching that since day one. Okay, it looks like that ooze thing or whatever it's called is actually starting to tear up my defenses here. So what's it, 1 on 2? Okay. I think we should get this. I'll speed it up a little bit. But yeah, I think we got this. There we go. I thought that was an interesting team, to say the least. Taking a look at the damage here, Sorceress, which I think was a pretty good choice, not over 100k. Puppet Master with 200k. Wow. Ninja Assassin didn't do a whole lot because he had Lightbringer. I should have thought of that, but in all reality, if I had not used Ninja Assassin, I mean, I guess I could have settled with maybe Fallen Dominion or something. But the problem is, if you keep Lightbringer along, if Lightbringer stays alive for too long, he becomes a pain because when he ultimates, he's keeping your people from moving, which means everybody else can just start picking you off. So I think Ninja Assassin is also good against Lightbringer, ironically enough, because it keeps Lightbringer from, you know, staying alive too long to get things done. So that was a pretty cool fight. I didn't get again maybe like a little over 25 ranks for that fight. Not too bad. I'll do a quick look to see what the competition has to bring. Nothing that I wish to fight right now, so I'll leave that alone. But yeah, let's go ahead and discuss real quick heroes that I think were good on paper, but unfortunately were not great in application. As you can tell, my Divine Knight at the moment, I'm still working on him in the training field. I got his magic resistance at max for the level that I currently have my training field at. I've actually completely maxed out Death Knight, so he's done. As a matter of fact, we'll check out his stats real quick. Um, well, we'll just check out his stats as far as the training field. So right now he gets an additional 16,000 hit points, 243 armor, and magic resistance of 89. That's pretty good. Um, I'm really glad that they added the training field to this game. It actually adds more depth, and it actually allows you to play with characters you normally wouldn't play with because their power is so limited. So right now we're going to go ahead and discuss heroes that I think are good on paper but are not so good at application. Um, oh, and actually, before I segue into that, I want to briefly let you guys know that I am in a podcast. Me and my partner Handy Killcam, we do a gaming podcast every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central till about noonish. We use Handy Kill Cam's Twitch channel to do it. Also, you can check out Handy Kill Cam's YouTube because we're live on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Now, you're not going to see much video wise, it's just audio. It's like a talk show. We talk about our week and then we talk about, whatever gaming subjects we wish to talk about. And of course, sometimes people are, in the chat, asking questions or whatnot. And I always have a question of the day. So if you want to check out our gaming podcast, it is about all types of stuff, and not necessarily mobile gaming in general. Check us out. He already has all of our other videos on YouTube already. So if you want to see our videos, it's not going to be on my channel. It's going to be on Handy Kill Cam. That's HANDI Kill Cam. Just so you know, because he's handicapped, so that's kind of why it's like that. So I just kind of wanted to advertise that real quick. Remember, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Central, live gaming podcast. It's called the OG podcast. We just call it the OG Tubecast. Anyway, um, back here, Disease Bringer. I think I mentioned him last video as a hero. He's actually a hero I really, really like. Basically, without even reading anything, he's one of those heroes that can heal you without using an ultimate. He kind of is like that mid-range healer. Whoever, actually, he's not necessarily a healer, so to speak. Whoever has the lowest HP, they'll either be healed or they'll be damaged over time. If it's an enemy that's the lowest, it's damaged. If it's the well, let's just read these skills. We'll see what I'm talking about. Let's start with the bottom skill. So basically, his Hellfire Giant burns nearby enemies over time. Basically, his ultimate ability is summoning a giant, which is probably the best clone in the game, in my opinion. But nearby enemies take 374.5 damage per second. So his damage over time if you happen to be touching that elemental. He has Fist of Flame. This is what I was trying to talk about. So basically, he controls Hellfire Giant to. Oh, this is different. Basically, he uses Giant to bash and stun enemies with his Fist of Flame. He deals over 1,500 damage, and then he can stun people of level 108 or lower. With basically, because of the equipment, he can hit. He can deal with people of higher levels. So he will definitely hit enemies at level 108 or lower. Uh, Basically, since the cap's 105, that hill giant's gonna mess him up. Next ability, incarnation or incantation. I think this is it. All right. So he uses an incantation towards the weakest target, restoring HP if the target is an ally or causing magic damage if the target is an enemy. And the healing amount is about 4,600 uh, up to, and then deals a little over 6,100 damage over time. So that's what I was trying to mention. He either heals or drains, or drains your life, depending on who the target is. It's always beneficial to you though. And then of course his main ability is, if I can get my thumb here to stay. He calls for the giant down from the sky, stunning nearby enemies and causing magic damage. The giant fights for him until death or end of the battle. He summons a 108 level Hellfire Giant. The stunning hit rate basically will stun you if you're 108 or lower, which means he's going to stun whoever he ends up hitting for a couple seconds. Um, I like this guy. I liked him when I first saw him because I like the idea of healing without actually it being your ultimate. I like the fact that he summoned something that would disrupt their middle line so that, their forces are divided, and it's very very tanky. Like that thing does not die very well, or that thing does not die very easily. It takes a lot to kill those giants. So, yeah, I think that Disease Bringer, in my opinion, is really, really good. It's just that for some reason, an application doesn't work. I guess you have to have the right team, or it's just one of those heroes that's just out of date now. You know what I mean? Maybe he was fantastic when he first dropped, but nowadays, I mean, you might see him in a defense team, maybe. I might try utilizing him in the future, but I always thought he had potential, and I was very disappointed to find out that he didn't work out as well as I would have liked. That's why I wanted to bring him up first, because he's kind of one of my favorites. Here's another one that I thought had a lot of potential that doesn't get used: Ice Spirit. Um, so let's take a look at his abilities. We'll start with the bottom. Okay, so first and foremost, he actually has a legendary skill, and this is actually the reason I thought he had potential, if I'm not mistaken. So he causes the silenced enemies to lose energy over time. So silenced enemies lose 52.5 in energy per second. I like that. Um, I like the idea of basically controlling your enemies to where they cannot cast their ultimate skills. If you can keep people from doing their ultimates, you have a good advantage and you'll win. The problem with this guy, he's not very sturdy. He just like disease. I didn't mention about disease bringer. Disease bringer is very very squishy. He does not take hits very well at all, which is the whole reason this Hell Giant's so tanky, because he makes up for disease bringer not being so tanky. He's a middle line fighter. Same with Ice Spirit. He's not. He doesn't take damage very well, but there's a reason for that. So that's what that is. So if you're running him with like Silencer or Death Mage or Sorceress, When they silence them, they're losing energy, which I think is fantastic. Last words. Basically, he silences all enemies upon his death. So he has an upon death ability, which I actually forgot about. Silence hit rate increases with levels, so he'll definitely hit enemies at level 105 or lower. Um, and that's mainly because I know he's only level 102, but he has an equipment that ups, those kind of skills by 3, which I think is cool. Um, he has mute, so he silences the enemies who have dealt magic damage to him during the first 15 seconds of the battle. I think this is kind of an awkward one. I mean, I'm thinking he might be good against Sorceress or something. I'm not sure. Basically, solid hit rate increases with level. So basically, he can, at this point, even at level 102, affect everybody. Um, or any character in terms of levels. This is kind of a weird one. I mean, there are certain heroes that do deal magic damage early, so I guess that's not too bad. Again, he's like your control hero. Like he's not really the hero that's gonna deal much damage. He's really there to keep them from casting ultimates. Disarm. He freezes and stuns an enemy target, dealing magic damage. So he does about 1700 damage. Disarm hit rate increases with level, so definitely anyone level 5 or lower. So basically, he freezes somebody. So um, that's convenient. I mean, keeping him from, making any actions at all. That's definitely not a bad thing. And his ultimate skill, he protects all allies with a cold shield resisting magic damage. Absorbs 5,400 magic damage. So that's kind of cool. I mean, again, he's really, really on that defense. As a matter of fact, if you wanted to make a defensive team, and now that the whole healing defensive team thing is no good, maybe there might be a new variety where maybe instead of like the whole like trying to heal, maybe try to silence them. Maybe run like Ice Spirit with like I don't know, Disease Bringer and like maybe a good tank like Turtle Fighter and Dwarf Warrior, and then like a good damage dealer like we'll say Sorceress or Puppet Master. I would say Sorceress only because she silences. So you want someone that would, kind of has some synergy with Ice Spirit. This is just kind of a basic idea. It's probably a bad idea, but it sounds decent on paper, in my opinion. Instead of trying to gain life, let's just stop them from doing their ultimates. You know what I mean? I think that has a potential to do some good. Unfortunately, I pushed him, and then he wasn't very effective. But at the same time, I was still a noob too. So if I tried hard enough and did enough brainstorming and testing, I could probably make him good. What other hero? Right now I'm just looking at middle line heroes. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that I really, really, really thought like had potential, and I was disappointed to find out they didn't. Because there most of the people up here are actually pretty good. In their own respects. Mm, let's see. We'll go with the frontline heroes. Maybe there's a frontline hero that I was disappointed with. And I'm not going to mention Commander because Commander is actually still a pretty good hero. It's just that you just don't want to run her when there's a Rose Fencer running around because she won't do nothing. Basically, Rose Fencer plus Divine Knight equals Commander's death, more or less, or Bane, if you will. Um, I I don't know how I feel about Depp's voice. His abilities is what I'm gonna as basically what I'm gonna say. So she is not a bad tank in general. I mean, if you're trying to get away from the whole lack of healing and you want to control them, maybe Depp's voice might actually be a good idea now that I think about it. So she's another option. The only problem with her is a Rose Fencer would completely shut her down too. So probably not. But she's one of those heroes that I was using a lot for a long time, and I don't think she's bad. I just think she could be better. Um, Sometimes I don't feel like she's tanky enough, and she's supposed to be able to dodge a lot, and she doesn't dodge with the crap because that's what her whole legendary skill is about. is basically dodging something and creating a phantom. It says dodges incoming attacks and then creates a phantom to help the fight. And the mirror image is whatever her level is, more or less. The image that she summons is pretty weak. It's basically an image that appears right in front of her, if I'm not mistaken, and it soaks up like a couple of hits, unless someone like Imperial Executioner goes ultimate, then it just dies. But it's probably one of the weaker of the clones. Yeah, the ability would be a lot better is if a certain other hero legendary skill was actually worth the crap. But we'll go into that later if I have time. Basically untouchable. She uses her ancient, whatever martial secret to easily dodge incoming attacks. So basically, her dodge goes up, which is her whole point is to dodge and do stuff. Binds an enemy in her magical net and deals magic damage, trapping and disabling them. This is actually a good ability. So basically, she does like 1100 damage at this level, and her hit rate increases with level. So this is actually a pretty good ability too. Just keeps them from moving more or less, or doing anything for a bit. Basically, a spinning blade causes physical damage to nearby foes. Uh, as for what she's doing, I don't think that ability is necessary. And then her ultimate skill is that she uses her sleeping song to force her enemies into a deep sleep. Uh, and this is actually a really good ultimate for a good defensive team that doesn't rely on healing. So this could be the new generation of defensive teams if someone picks up my idea and does something with it. Another one I gotta mention is Savage One, who is the one that's supposed to help Dev's voice. Legendary skill says anybody with his symbol gets an agility enhancement. I would assume agility would have something to do with dodging, but it could be just damage in general. Um, I would assume this, like him and Dev's voice would have done something nice together, but apparently they don't. The ability just doesn't really make much of a difference, unfortunately. And that's really the only reason why he's that disappointing. Otherwise, I kind of like him. I used to use him, but nah. Basically, he increases his own strength because he's one of those damage dealing tanks. Um, he marks an enemy with a weakness and weakens the armor of the target by a period of time. So it basically reduces someone's armor so that they can take more damage. Like I said, he has potential to do great things. It's just that for some reason it doesn't work in application. Powerful attack that causes physical damage to nearby foes, so he does a lot of damage. And then of course his main thing is he does lots of damage and stuns, I believe, as his ultimate. If I can ever get it to work. Slams the ground, causing magic damage and stunning foes in a moderate area. Which basically means front and some middle. So 1100 damage, stunning hit rate will basically hit people of his level or lower. Um, Again, I liked him. I like the idea of him plus Fidget Spirit plus Dev's voice because they all share the same, you know, emblem. But I just haven't seen it work yet. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Um, just see Swordmaster. I I liked his ability as far as legendary is concerned. Basically, with the sword symbols, get a physical crit enhancement, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, crit bonus. So that's pretty cool. I like that. He has the other ability that lets enemies. Basically, he increases his own agility, more or less. And then which makes him like not take many hits, as more or less. He plays the healing ward to refill the whole team's hit points. This is kind of good. It's not so bad. It's like I said, I like the idea of healing without it being your ultimate skill, so that's why I kind of like that ability. He charges into battle, causing physical damage to nearby enemies and resisting all magic damage. So basically, when he starts off, he does like a little tornado thing at the Tasmanian Devil, and people take damage, and then he takes nothing, and then after that, he heals everybody. Like what he does is good. I just don't think his stats are good. I think that's really the issue. And that's the issue with all those other heroes too. Their stats make it to where they die too easily. They don't either deal nearly as much damage as they should. They don't dodge nearly as much as they should. Like they just need to be upgraded. And of course, his ultimate rapid strike attacks against multiple enemies. He moves so fast that he cannot be hit, and just does a ton of damage for each hit. Um, like I said, he looks fantastic on paper. Like I rushed to push him when he was in the soul shop, and then when I finally got him to 5 stars, I was just like, eh, well, that wasn't so great. I mean, he was decent, in raid, like back in the chapter like 12 to 14 days, but I don't know. He just seems obsolete. Um, and there are others, but I don't really have a lot of time to go into that right now. I just kind of wanted to give you guys kind of an idea of something, a different subject. I like to make my videos fresh and new, so I wanted to go over something that doesn't typically get talked about. So if you find any other heroes that you think that are underplayed or have a lot of potential, but for some reason it just doesn't work out, feel free to comment about it. I'd like to actually see other heroes that you think could be better, and maybe I might talk about it. I might be like, yeah, you know what, I kind of do agree with that, and I can mention it in another video or something. But this is going to end the video for today. Again, we'll be doing our videos once a week. Typically, I do them on Saturdays, but I end up doing it on Sunday instead for personal reasons. But I'll try to keep doing a video once a week for Heroes Charge, since that's where my main audience is. And this weekend was PAX. So if you guys went to PAX South in San Antonio, uh, congrats, and I hope you guys had fun. I meant to go, but unfortunately, I didn't have enough money to pay for it until it was too late, so it was already sold out on that Saturday. So I didn't end up going, which is part of why I wasn't even going to do a video yesterday, was because of that. But there were other things going on too. So, but until next time, you guys take it easy.